Yule. What it is, your boy SK. Out here with your Diddy Trial update for today, June. What's today? What's today's date?
June 24th.
June 24th. Alright, man. Today was a day from hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like watching paint dry. The whole day consists of just reading off a bajillion text messages between Diddy, Cassie, Jane Doe, and
Facts.
Matter of fact, let me get my man here. Matter of fact, let's get entertainment here. What's your name, bro?
Joe Neerman, aka Good Logic. New York
my man Joe Logic was chopping up with me a couple of seconds ago, kind of giving me some feedback on what he thought about the thing.
Yep.
I'm gonna let him tell you his thoughts on what he saw today, and then I'll give you my feedback as well.
Oh, I agree. It was boring as hell.
Yes.
I mean, the testimony was boring as hell. And the reason is we had a summary witness, and they're basically plucking from this random time and that random time.
It's never chronological order.
You don't know what the
It's
hell's
outside.
happening.
What?
We don't know what's happening. It might have been easier to follow for the jury because they have exhibits that they're able to look at maybe in front of them, so perhaps for them it's easier. But for those of us sitting, and it was all redacted, so we couldn't see that. And it was very confusing, and it didn't seem to have any sort. It was confusing on cross today. It was also confusing on direct. The whole witness. I think that type of witness is probably brought in by the state, figuring, okay, we want to get this glob of information that will summarize things in a way that when they're deliberating, they can look things through.
Right.
So when you're hearing them talk about it at trial, it's boring and confusing. But it could be that, look, we need to get this evidence submitted.
Right. Everything's submitted in, so you fuck
this
it
way,
out on.
And this way, we're hoping that the jury will go through it when they're deliberating and trying to figure out, that they should convict. That's what the state is hoping for, at least. Now, to me, the other interesting thing we heard today is the Rule 29 application, and that was we had a lengthy argument brought by the defense under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 29 that they can ask for a directed verdict of acquittal, and it's basically a free shot for the defense of like, hey, judge, don't let this go to the jury. Dismiss it now, because as a matter of law, this cannot be. No reasonable jury is allowed to convict him in this scenario. But there's not enough facts here. Even if you look at the facts in the light most favorable to government, believe everything they say. But as a matter of law, it's still not a violation of RICO. It's still not sex trafficking. And each of the charges, and they went through them one by one, trying to explain why it is that as a matter of law, a jury should be prohibited from that if they're following the law, that they should be prohibited from convicting him. And if that's the case, that even looking at the facts in the light most favorable to the government, they're still not allowed to convict. The judge is supposed to dismiss the charges. Now, I should caution you that every attorney, every defense counsel will bring a Rule 29 application. Right. It's practically malpractice not to do it. And the reason is because let's say the judge gets it wrong. The judge is going to deny it. 99.99%, they'll do what they did right now, which is he says, I'll reserve decision, which means I'm going to hold off on deciding this till later, which will probably decide right before closing arguments or right after closing arguments, and then he'll deny it. That happens all the time. But that's still something that the defense has to do, because if in fact the judge is wrong, if he misses something here, you can't appeal it unless you bring this application. You bring this application so that if in fact, as a matter of law, this never should have gone to a jury, in that case, you waive that unless you bring this application. Because when you're appealing it, you're not appealing the jury's conviction. You're appealing this decision from the judge. So in order to appeal, you have to bring it and have the judge deny it. You know he'll deny it, but this way you're saving your rights on appeal.
It's like a half-court shot. Like, your chances are low for it to go in, but you still need to take it.
Right, and later on, he'll tell the appellate court, I took that shot.
Right, exactly.
And he said no.
Exactly.
And he was wrong under the law to say no, and that would give him a basis to overturn if, in fact, he gets convicted. So they brought it for saying you bring it charge by charge, saying there are 5 charges here, and here's why it should be acquitted, and you should rule from the bench that he's acquitted on the RICO charge, on the trafficking of Cassie, the trafficking of Jane, and the other 2 Mann Act violations. And each one of them, and this way you hope that, look, maybe we'll get one of them, maybe we'll get some of them, we don't know, but this way we're preserving it, and they did a very effective job in laying out why it is that they think that there's not enough here, there's not enough meat.
They convinced the hell out of me, especially in the RICO stuff. I was like,
They're going item by item. The one thing that they were talking about with respect to the RICO gets very confusing because there's so many different bases.
There's so many levels to it.
Right. Is it obstruction? It could be arson. It could be the sex trafficking. It could be the kidnapping. And they went one by one, walking through how, like, okay, this is how it cannot be under law be kidnapping. This is how it cannot be trafficking. You don't have the mens rea, which is the intent that Diddy has to know he's forcing them. You don't have that here. There's not been any evidence that he knew he was forcing them. In fact, there's a lot of evidence that these women were basically telling him, "Oh, I love freak offs with you." So how does he know? He has to know he's forcing them.
He has to know he's going to make you do something against your will.
Yes, exactly.
You're telling him that you're enjoying it.
Right.
He can't read your mind and be like, she's really not enjoying it.
Exactly. And that's a basis to acquit. Now, on the other hand, the judge can find, and the jury perhaps can reasonably find, say, this guy's blackmailing the hell out of her. He's beating the hell out of her. Certainly with Cassie, not with Jane. Jane, there was no violence.
Yeah, no,
but
one incident.
Yeah, but so how can he not know that he's forcing her? If you know you're forcing someone, you got to beat them into doing it. You know.
Right.
So that's the counter as far as why to convict him. But I think the one I think that they had the best case on is Jane. I think the trafficking charges on Jane are a joke. I think
you're just reaching for straws.
Yeah.
Like, why are we part of her testimony? I'm sitting here like, why is she up here?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's no way you thought putting her up here was going to help your case. Right? You just wasted everybody's time.
Well, I mean, I think they're hoping that they're going to get a conviction that she was being trafficked, but when they didn't even bring trafficking for her. I didn't realize this. But the first time they brought charges, there's nothing about trafficking Jane. Second time, they changed it, updated it, no trafficking Jane. The only time they brought up trafficking Jane was just a month or two ago when they learned that she claimed about that night that she was beaten on June 18, 2024. So, and that beating, you're going to tell me that she felt forced there, that she couldn't walk out of there before she engaged in that sexual encounter? I don't buy that at all. Personally.
She left and came back. That's the thing. Like,
it's not only that. She seemed like she felt guilty. Like, the whole reason, if you look back to the story that happened on June 18, 2024, when I was listening to her tell it, it's almost like she felt guilty, that she felt in her brain that she had cheated on Diddy, and that she was, and that she felt sad that when they were on a break, that she basically was hanging out with this Anton dude, and that he knew about it, and she never told him about it, and that now when he discovered it that night, she felt guilty about it, and she was hoping to find someone to make it up. So no, I don't think she felt forced. I think she could have easily walked out of there. And the whole trafficking charges, I think, with respect to Jane, I think on Jane, I think it's a terrible charge.
Basically, when she was like, they was chilling together, and he wasn't giving her, I guess, the energy she was used to, and she was like, I miss Paul.
Yeah.
She was like, really? She was like, yeah, call him up.
She used it. As a weapon. Right. On Valentine's Day. Oh, happy Valentine's! I'm going to give you two guys. Like, don't go to your other girlfriends.
Right.
Come here to me.
Come here to me. I got two guys.
I'm going to give you something you never had before. I'm going to give you two guys. I mean, come on. That to me, the whole thing with Jane, that's not. Maybe he was a terrible boyfriend. I mean, he was a terrible boyfriend. He was a horrible boyfriend. He was an a-hole.
Wouldn't date my sister.
Right. Exactly. He's a total dirtbag. But it's not criminal trafficking. And that to me is where I'm at, certainly with Jane. On Cassie, I think you can convince me, even though I don't like the charge, I think the charge is not what trafficking is supposed to be, that there's technically coercion and it's technically commercial sex. I can see a jury coming to a conclusion on that.
Cassie could go either way.
Yeah, Cassie can go either way. Jane, I do not think there's going to be a conviction on. And Rico, honestly,
I can't see how they get Rico. I just can't see.
I hate the charge.
You got to have two predicates for it.
Yeah, I know.
You can't get that arson.
Between the drug trafficking, I mean, the drug trafficking is hard to get around.
What I'm saying, drug trafficking for personal use.
Right, but is it personal use if I give it to you? If you're hanging out with me and I give it to you, is that considered personal use? Is it personal use only when I use it myself, when I swallow it myself? So I don't know. It's not considered trafficking if I give it to my friend or my girlfriend. You know, if I give them drugs, I don't know if that's still considered personal. I can understand an argument saying that's personal use because I want us all to have a good time. So I can definitely understand the argument. I'm just not sure as a matter of law whether that still qualifies as personal use.
And for trafficking, it has to be like over a certain quantity. It's always, from what they were saying, it's always been basically like,
here's a pill, there's a pill. Here's a pill, there's a pill. I'll give you another pill. That's what I'm saying.
It's not blunt, line.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. great chatting with you. Where am I going to find you? Where am I going to find this later?
Honest Dialogue.
What's good?
Honest Dialogue.
Honest Dialogue. Awesome. I like the name of that. Make sure you like, subscribe, sign up to this guy. He's awesome. I'm Good Logic. Good Logic. LAWGIC. Good Logic. That's my YouTube channel. I'll catch you all next time.
My man. Alright, so I got y'all that exclusive from my Good Logic. He was sitting there quarter across from me the whole day. So, you know, as I was saying, like, today was an eyesore. Like, god damn, like falling asleep in that bitch, drooling, like mother hit you like, hey, wake up, like, what I miss? So that type of energy all day. Alright, so now I'm gonna start you back over to the beginning of the day. Puff came in. He had on dark colors for change. This is the first time I seen him come in with dark colors on. He had on what looked to be like a burnt orange sweater with some black pants and a white shirt. Normally he's always been all light colors, all khaki colored pants, white or either high yellow colored like vest with a white shirt, but today he was all dark colors. Another thing I noticed today, I think Puff stressed. I think the weight of everything's getting to Puff. Because when he sat down, he came in first. None of his teammate got there. He came down, sat down, and he took a deep breath. Like one of those breaths you take when you talking to yourself like, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to be good. Like, kind of like maybe at a point in time, his nerves had gotten to him. But at a point in time, he was taking a breath like he was recentering himself. Like you could literally see the stress in his body language and his shoulders dropping like, relax, dog. Like basically gaming himself up. He came in, he hugged everybody, went to his seat, when he sat down, chill. How you doing, baby? Got some oxygen. So now, they opened up with some quick ejections. So the prosecution was like, hey, we want this type of stuff thrown out. So the judge was like, all right, lay it on us. Prosecutor was like, we want these specific messages from Cassidy Diddy about having sex thrown out. It was like, it don't have nothing to do with free calls. So the judge was like, wait, doesn't that go to coercion? And the defense was like, she sent these messages directly after the free call, or directly before and after the free call. But the messages was like, I love having sex. So it was like, basically messages got nothing to do with free calls. So the judge was like, all right, bet. He like sustained that one. But now he overruled the one they tried to throw out when it was like, Puff was like, what you want to do? And Cash was like, be your little freak. And the prosecution went after out too. But judge was like, nah, because you can't really define what being the little freak means. So we're going to keep that in. So another thing I noticed today, his legal team, like Brian Steele, they came in late. They came in like 20 minutes late. Like everything they already popped up, they popped up. I don't know what that meant, but it just kind of like stuck out. A couple other things they threw out there to get, couple of things prosecution threw out there they wanted to get taken out. Like they said, my bank account needs to be right. Jane Doe told Puff in a text message, my bank account needs to be right. And the prosecution wanted that thrown out. The defense was like, that goes to the idea she has alternative motives, like financial motives. Like she wasn't just like some innocent victim who was just chilling. Like she wasn't just like some damsel in distress. And judge sustained that, he threw that out too. So he threw out like half the ones they asked for, kept half the ones they did ask for. So now, moving forward, the whole day was them reading off text messages. So basically what it was, the dude was the government agent who was in charge of basically kind of like, I guess like verifying like all the information, verifying text messages and phone information. So his job was basically to make sure that all the phone stuff, information, and all stuff was authentic and came from whoever phone they said he came from. So the defense was immediately up, like the defense was in the cross-examination. We literally was in that bitch for 6 hours with them reading off like just random text messages between Diddy, Cassie, Diddy, Jane Doe, Diddy, sex worker, well, entertainer, Diddy, Capricorn, like they just reading out random messages. And it would always be Some of them made sense, some of them don't. Like it would be on some messages like, I'm gonna read something to y'all. Like they showed messages. All right, they did. Okay, hold on. They did allow. Hold on. I got to find this one message. Hold on. So basically, they started off with some text messages. They started with some explicit ones from Cassie and Diddy. I didn't write them down because my jaw dropped when I heard it. But it was some wild shit she said to him. Like it was some freaky wild shit. But then when they switched from that to Jane Doe messages with Cabal. Cabal's one of the sex workers. So it was like Cabal was like, we had a pretty intense night last night. Jane Doe's like, ha ha. Cabal's like, that was the roughest sex we have had. You took me there. And Jane was like, ha ha, best ever. So this is her text messaging the sex worker, like basically them admiring their work. Now you tell me you get sex trafficked, but you got like a back and forth rapport with the sex worker. And it was a bunch of messages like that they like, an ass of messages like, dog. We was literally in there for at least 6 hours going back and forth on text messages. Like, and they would spit them all so fast. See the right there? That's the shade room girl. Hey, she alright. She has some pretty ass feet. Like, she came and sat like right beside, like near me, like in the courtroom. I was like, man, okay, put together. I ain't paying no attention. And she got a press pass. I looked at the press pass, kind of, I hustled who she was. I said the shade room. I was like, oh man, okay. Yeah, she alright. But yeah, hey, so getting back to it. Hey, so all day text message all day long, nothing but text message. Like sitting there like, God damn, like can we do something else? Like one time I left, went to the cafeteria, got me a little candy bar, something, came back. So I was really in there falling asleep. Yeah, so some text messages. Puff was like, I got some new tricks for you. I'ma bend your leg behind your back. Jane, your dick is the only one that can make me come. Puff, I saw the Italian guy make you come 2 nights ago. Like it was that type of vibe. The whole text message was just like all they business, all they text messages getting exposed. Which is why I had that greatest fear of getting in trouble, getting in legal trouble, them confiscating my phone and being like, hey, we gonna read out the text messages in front of your mama and grandmama. I'm like, no, I'll take the deal. They can't hear that. But all right, hold on. Let me get some more stuff to you. Jane, hey, text message. Tonight was fun. Just a bunch of text messages, man. Like, fam, it's so many text messages, fam. I ain't gonna read out all these text messages, fam. Like, I wrote down. I would try to write down some when it felt funny. Some of it, I ain't gonna lie, felt pointless. I mean, mind you, this is all the defense doing. All the defense doing. The girl who's on DJ Blast. It's all the defense, like they basically the defense cross-examination. Some of the stuff seemed pointless because, to be honest, it's like it'd be like Cassie be like, I love having sex with you, blah blah blah, and it'd be like, fam, she's accused you being accused of sex trafficking. Like, I think it's established she likes having sex with Diddy, but like, you know, what this has to do with her liking or not liking being sex trafficked. So lots of stuff that came like, it was like, I don't see how this is helping y'all case, so to speak. Now, for some reason, hey, it was one time there. This was the one time that they was like, huh? They was like in a text message, and it was like they was going back and forth. It was like, can you make it tonight? And Paul was like, I can't. Okay, so Jane was like, hey, can you make it tonight? We try to do something. Paul was like, I can't. Jane was like, boo, laugh out loud. But then it switches from Jane talking to Paul to Jane talking to Puff. So they was going back and forth from some type of message, and all of a sudden they was like, nah, I'm Gucci. So all of a sudden they was like, image comes in, or basically indicating the image came in the text. And like at this point in time, I ain't gonna lie, I'm half listening. But it's like image come in. Then it was like they asked him to do like Do you recognize this image? He's like, yes. Do you recognize it? Is this an image of what appears to be Shaquille O'Neal? We was like, what? Wait, he sent her a picture of Shaq. Like, wait, Shaq here? Shaq got something to do with this? So, hey, Diesel, I don't know what you did, fam, but hey, you got name dropped today. You get a subpoena. Hey, tighten up, Diesel. But yeah, his name dropped, but they switched subjects after that. I'm like, wait. Everybody's totally gonna look around like, Shaq? Like, what, Shaq coming? Shaq in this? But, whatever. Oh, you know what? Got it. All right, so that's what it was. With okay, now it makes sense. All right, so with Jane Doe, they had a joke that her, Diddy, and Paul were basically the equivalent of Jordan, Kobe, and Shaq. So Diddy was Jordan, Paul was Shaq, she was Kobe. So basically, she was basically telling him that she wanted Paul. That's what it was. I just put that together. That's what it was. That explains why she was there texting like back and forth with Paul, and it switched from her and Paul texting to her and Diddy texting, and she takes a picture of Shaq, meaning like basically either saying that she wanted to get Paul or Paul couldn't show up. I just pieced that together. Bam. Your boy SK broke it down for you. All right. September 23rd. Yo, you don't want to hear that shit. Hey, March 8th, 9th. Puff, he loved making you. Cassie, it was like, I love making you. So yeah, Jane Doe was like, I love making your dick hard. Can't wait for you to ride. Can't wait to let you ride. Can't wait to ride you and play with your nipples. Now, that was on February the 8th, 2024. So like so he had been messing with her super recently. Alright, what else we got? Try to get in there. Sidebar, prosecution. So yeah, like my man said, once that was finally over, like geez Louise, they basically was like, hey, so the defense got up and was like, hey, so the prosecution rests, like, are we done? So the defense got up and was like, hey, look, throw this case out. He's like, why? And she went and broke down like why like it should be thrown out. Like my man said, like she's like Rico. They feel like she's like basically like it's all bullshit. She's like all these people work for Puff. Like they can leave when they want to. They haven't been asked to do nothing illegal. Like even the stuff they did illegal, like buy drugs, were all for personal use. So what like they was transporting like bricks of cocaine or something. It's all personal use drugs. They talking about helping with the freak offs. That was just them basically like hey, we doing my job, but they didn't know that it was nothing illegal going on. Or they knew that it was him and his girlfriend chilling out. They didn't know it was gonna be like illegal stuff going on in there. She was like there's no basis for the RICO. She was like the arson. It was like there's no proof that Puff was there or did the thing with Cuddy. He never admitted it. Cuddy said he thought Puff did it. That's just speculation. And it was like, matter of fact, the only DNA that was found out there was a girl. So it was like, there's nothing there for her. So they was like, throw that shit out. They wanted the damn bribery thrown out. The bribery charge, like, man, throw that out because it was like, for it to be bribery, it had to be a government official or basically prevent somebody from going to a government official. And they was like, hey, the people he bribed, people who like paid the money to, they wasn't threatening to go to the government. They testified they had no desire to do that, and the police wasn't never involved. So it's like there's no grounds for it. Like he just basically gave them money for whatever reason because he was trying to help. They said he gave them money to protect his personal image and didn't want to damage his career, not to basically prevent him from going to the police. And apparently, in the affidavit, the NDA that Diddy gave them, it said in the NDA that they had the right to still go to the police if necessary. So evidently, he had like a A1 lawyer make that shit. So it's like, damn, all right. As far as the stuff with forced labor, basically Capricorn and Mia were basically saying like they was forced like laborers, basically, right? It's all still part of the RICO predicate. And they was like, nah, it's like you forced labor, but they literally was telling, like, on the court case that, like, on the stand, like, they were doing things, they were afraid to lose their job. So it's like, how can you force labor if you're staying because you're scared to lose your job? Like, if it's court, it would be the other way around. Like, I want to leave, but I'm scared to stay, but I'm scared to leave. It's like, both of them left. As a matter of fact, Capricorn left and ended up working for 50 Cent, which I didn't know. And then Mia left and was working for Madonna. Super random. But it was like, yeah, so it was like, how can you be forced labor if y'all both left here, got fired? Capricorn, you came back. So it was like, how can you be forced labor if you left, got another job with more money, then came back to this job? Like, that don't sound like forced labor. And now the Cassie and Jane part of the forced labor, they basically was saying that basically, like, it's a level of consent in there, and like Puff had no knowledge of, like, them being forced to do these things. It was like, basically, like, for as far as Jane Doe, they try to lean hard on the fact that, and this is other bullshit like the government doing. They try to say that Jane Doe got, hold on, what's the word again? Hold on. Give me one second. Not that hard shit. Sex trafficking. Basically, they try to say that, breach of contract type shit. Basically, try to say that Jane Doe got duped because Puff promised to take her to church. Fraud. That's what it was. Fraud. The fraud charge. Their whole notion for the fraud charge was because Puff told Jane Doe that he's gonna take her to church in Kansas, and he never took her. So that's the justification they use it for fraud. No, fam, really? If that's fraud, fam, hey, fam, they gonna give me the chair. I done told a girlfriend or a girl many times we gonna do X, Y, and Z and ain't follow through. If that's the case. Okay, hold on, man. See what else I gotta tell y'all today, man. Puff was nervous too. He was tapping his hand a lot, tapping his foot, like he tapping his side, like you can see nervousness in him. At the end, they basically, all right, so the defense is going to be started up on the next court date. They made Puff allocute, basically like saying like, hey, made Puff stand up in court and was like, and Puff was like, before the judge starts talking, like, hey man, I want to tell you you're doing a hell of a job. Everybody kind of chuckled at that, whatever the case may be. Try to take over the room, some real Puff type shit. So then the judge was like, hey, you recognize you have the right to testify on your behalf or not. And it has to be your decision, nobody else. Puff was like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I got it. So he's like, is it your, basically, are you going to testify or not? Puff was like, nah. And he's like, are you being forced by anybody not to testify? Puff said, nope, it's my decision. I am not testifying. So you will not see Puff on that stand. So that was that. Yeah, so much fun. So some more text messages and shit, blah, blah, blah. These text messages getting on my nerves, fam. Like, god damn, they was text messaging to death today, fam. Wow, just bonus, Mia, no communications. Oh, yeah, brought some stuff like Nia claimed to be sexually assaulted, but in a note from like 5 of her first meetings with the government, at no point in time did she say something about being sexually assaulted. So basically just kind of like some stuff, trying to get some stuff thrown out. But that's pretty much it for today. Like I said, today wasn't the littest day, but you know, it was a day nonetheless. So yeah. So no court tomorrow. Court back on Thursday, and the defense is up. So now, defense not calling. I told y'all, defense not calling no witnesses. I'm telling y'all from my inside source. Get it from your boy here first, me, SK. The defense team is like, hey, we cool. Like, oh, we gravy. Like, the defense was originally planning for 2 weeks worth of goddamn work. The defense is basically saying like, damn, we need 2 days. Tops. Like, the defense is like, we might be done on Thursday. Like, the defense is very confident in what they've done. They feel like they basically provide reasonable doubt with the RICO, They basically feel they pull reasonable doubt with the transport. What move? I move, man. Stop texting me now. They basically think they prove reasonable doubt on the interstate prostitution. Now, this is them telling me this now. In my mind, I told her like, hey, I think he cooked on interstate prostitution, but their whole stance is that what he did was he hired entertainers. Like the people he got them from are all entertainers. Like they like entertainment company. Like what they did when they got there was on some other stuff. Because he basically said like several times they showed up, things went left or things didn't pop off, and still got paid. So he wasn't paying them for sex, he was paying them for their time. And just in their midst of their time, sex happens sometimes. So that's they sell it. Now, do I buy it? Yeah. I mean, if y'all hanging on that, y'all better than me. I think y'all cook. But that's what they selling on. As far as sex trafficking, they basically go on stuff that is consensual. They basically say that they've proven to some extent all of it. Well, Jane Doe they ain't worried about. Like that's like Jane Doe they almost laughing about. The Cassie stuff is kind of damn tricky for them. They say the Cassie stuff they've proved that to some extent at points in time stuff was consensual, and they also harp on the fact that rarely at a point in time did Puff know that Cassie didn't want to do the freak offs. Like now the prosecution will come back and be like, well, you beat the shit out of this girl. Of course she was scared to speak up at X, Y, and Z. But the defense is like, not only did Puff not know, how scared was Cassie really, because she had like 5 other boyfriends during the time dealing with Puff. So it was like, was she really scared? So that's the defense stance in all this. So they are super confident. Like I said, they was originally planning for a 2-week, all right, let's do our work. They really was like, we need 2 days, maybe 1, if everything go the way we needed to go, like as far as like prosecution not objecting and stuff like that. So they super confident. So the hope is everything will be wrapped up Friday, maybe Monday they give it to the juror, and then the jury takes them from there. So we'll see where it goes. So I think that's about it. See anything else right here? Prosecution judge? You don't know myself. Text messages and go. Yeah, I don't know myself. Like, fam, I could sit here and literally read y'all off like 50 text messages, fam. You don't want to write yourself, fam. Like, I'm mad at myself for writing some of this stuff down, fam. Like, this make me feel like I was back in school taking notes. Like, fam, like, what am I taking these notes for? I'm not reading this shit. But yeah, so that's that. So, yeah, man, that signifies the day. That's the day now. Oh, I saw Laura London today. She came in there today. I saw her today. She's alright. Cute, tall, skinny. She's alright. Yeah, saw her in there today. Yeah, court was packed today for some reason. It's like there's an ass of people there today. Yeah. And I didn't get in the court again. They take 14 people every day. Today I was number 15. Like I was literally the next person. I was like, dog, come on, man. Cuz just laughed at me like, hey man, you gotta get here early, dog. I'm like, fam, what we do, dog? Look out for your boy. Like, man, I can't do it for you, dog. Maybe Thursday I get in. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, maybe I might try to get one of these dang other high-end other podcasters, YouTubers become holler at y'all. Yeah. Let me tap out though. Y'all check in with SK. SK out. Live on location. Honest dialogue. Like, subscribe, share. Do that for your boy.